Hi everyone, it's Frog here, and welcome back to Novato? What is Nevada State Eco Zoo. My goodness. This one took me quite a while, so it's all going to be sped up from here. The last episode, if I had done this from the beginning, we probably could have fit it into one, but it's all right. 2 parts is appropriate for this zoo, I think. So we are working towards our silver and gold stars today, so that we can move on to the next zoo and wrap up the career mode for the base game pretty soon. Actually, we have 1 zoo after this, and then we have to build one from the ground up as well. So two zoos after this. I don't know how those will be split up yet. We'll figure that out when we get there. For now, let's focus on Nevada. Me Springbok, I mean, they were doing good for a while, and then I wanted to lower the fence a little bit so that my guests could have a better look at them, and it just wasn't working out. They would either try to escape or the guests would stress them out. Eventually, I just replaced the barrier altogether and do one-way glass in sections, and it's fine. But I don't do that till I think after the zoo tour even. They go a while without guests being able to look at them, which they don't mind, but guests probably mind a little bit. We end up adding so much additional animals in here that I don't think the guests have too much to complain about. We start looping this path around so that it'll go the entire way around the lake, and we place several habitats on the interior of the path and a couple on the exterior as well, but not so many. I think that's largely due to a lack of animal availability in the trade center, more so than it is time or space, because we have plenty of time. We get to the end of this and I end up doing the zoo tour before we even actually have our gold star, because we're just waiting for our wolves to grow up, actually. That's one of the objectives, is to release so many timber wolves to the wild, and we just needed one of the babies to grow up. But so we would have had plenty of time to add additional habitats, but there's not a huge selection of different species to put in this zoo to begin with. So the side behind me of where I'm working now, there's not a whole lot on that side, but we make it work. I think I ultimately like how the zoo ends up looking. This doesn't stay like this either, but I think I like where it ends up. This, honestly, if there were any that I was gonna revisit and add to, it might be this one. We won't have time to do that, but just because I think it would feel more complete if we had tightened up the other side, the back half of the zoo. And honestly, it might be more just a layout issue with the path itself. I think if I had brought that path forward more so it runs along the beach of the lake rather than going across the lake itself, that might have helped, because then you could look over the other side down into the water where the animals might be swimming or something like that, and I think that would have made it feel a little bit more complete. It's just when you take that path now, there's not a whole lot to look at on that side other than the scenery, which is beautiful. But I mean, it's not a super tiny zoo. I think we end up with 13 different habitat species, and some of them are pretty big species. I mean, we have hippos, we have buffalo. I think we do put a snow leopard in here. Poor snow leopard, just getting thrown all over the place into environments she does not want to be in. But regardless, the zoo, I think, turns out pretty good overall. And like I said, if we had more time, I probably would honestly come back to it, because I think there's a lot more that I would like to do with it, just for my own creativity, not because we didn't meet the objectives. Obviously we do get that done, but I would definitely add some more things. But that takes time. And I went through and kind of like planned out what I need to do to get the career mode scenarios, all of those zoos done, including the DLCs, before Planet Zoo 2's release. And if I want to also do the DLCs, basically need to do 2 episodes of the career mode each week. That'd be like two zoos for the most part each week. Now that is expecting that at least the last career mode of the base game takes 2 episodes, which I'm going to assume that it will. That one's being built from scratch, and I feel like most of the ones where we're building from nothing tend to take quite a bit longer than the ones where you at least have a starting architecture or layout. So that's my thought. I don't know if any of the DLC zoos will be from scratch or not. I'm hoping that's not the case, because as of right now, like I said, if I can hold to that timeline, we can get it all done like right before Planet Zoo 2 comes out. So that would be kind of cool. So that's kind of the plan right now. We'll see how much we get done. I think even if maybe I don't get them uploaded, I would at least like to play through the DLC career modes. Those animals, so many of them are so beautiful, and I've used them in Sandbox or franchise, but it'd be a good way to get a look at them again before the game comes out without having to necessarily build a zoo from scratch or jump back into a sandbox or something like that. I feel like there's been a lot of DLC animals that they've announced for Planet Zoo 2. Well, animals that were Planet Zoo 1 DLCs. The first one that comes to mind most recently is the Eurasian lynx. We've known about the red deer for quite a long time, and that was a previous DLC animal. So I'm like curious to see, because right now I feel like a lot of the animals are very like Northern European. We definitely have a lot of African species, and I think that's largely because of what they've shown from the wildlife preserves have all been from those regions, and I think that's why it's focused on those animals right now. I've definitely seen some people like, where are our North American species? And don't get me wrong, I'm super excited. I really want those animals, especially, living in North America. Like, I want my bison, I want my pronghorn, I want my grizzly bear. I love all of them. I would love to see a white-tailed deer, honestly. Like, that's such like a mundane animal, but it's such a staple that I would love to see it. I would love to see elk. Oh my gosh. If they brought elk into Planet Zoo, that would be amazing. But like, I'm really excited to see those animals. I would be shocked if Frontier didn't release like any North American species. I just don't see that happening. So I've seen like some people like kind of freaking out about it. I just don't think they're ready to reveal them. I think it's probably going to be something that's in the base game. I can't see them excluding an entire continent to release it as DLC. I just don't see that happening. But I also I feel like the anticipation, like I really want to see some of these animals. I really want to see the makeovers that they get. I'm super, super excited too, but also accepting there might be things that they don't show us before the game releases. We are approximately, at the time I'm working on this, probably 8 to 9 weeks. We're almost exactly 2 months from Planet Zoo 2, and that's quite a while in terms of announcements if they continue with the weekly schedule, which they have shown like no deviation in yet, so I would expect that the next couple weeks leading up to release, we are going to be flooded with more reveals and announcements, and I would assume that North American species are going to pop up at some point between now and then, but I also would imagine that Frontier has some things that they're not going to show us prior to release. I don't think that we knew every species that was coming to the game for Planet Zoo 1 before it released, and I don't see that being the case here either. You know, there are some things you kind of want to be left as a surprise, but we're gonna see them. It's just kind of when. Will it be at release? Will it be a special reveal? I don't know. With the wildlife preserves, I would love to have some sort of like, you know, Yellowstone, Teton, anything. Like, there are so many beautiful national parks across North America, and I only listed 2 in the US. Like, look at Canada. There's so many beautiful places that they could pick from for a wildlife preserve, and I don't know. I want to see them so bad, but I'm impatiently waiting. So I get it. I also really want to see them. I don't think Frontier's going to exclude them. Like, yes, I guess it's fair that in Planet Zoo 1's base game, the Americas were lacking a little bit, especially South America, from what I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I want to say I could think of like a handful of animals that were in the base game for South America. We did get a South America DLC maybe 6 months after release or so. It was something like that. So, I mean, maybe. I guess it's possible that they could do the DLC route, but I don't see that happening. I think that would cause such a backlash to intentionally exclude such massive parts of the world that I just don't see that being something they would do. They might not be as flushed out. I could see that being the case, but they've also have so many DLCs and things to pull from to improve upon for the base game Planet Zoo 2 that I think that would just be the most logical thing in my mind that they would do. Like, it's already there. They've already had practice doing it. Why not build upon what they have? Especially since they are releasing and have shown that they're releasing several DLC animals as part of the base game of Planet Zoo. I can't imagine that they would skip out on entire continents and then release the game and then do DLCs later. Could be wrong, but that's just not something I see them doing. And I'm kind of just rambling about it, but maybe I'm overly hopeful or optimistic. But we'll see. We shall see. Anyway, I'll probably stop yapping now about it, but I think I'm just gonna let the speed build run. We end up adding a red panda, some camels, crocodile, Nile monitor, snow leopards, and then I think our exhibit animals, and I think that's everything for this zoo. I honestly can't remember. I'll jump back in when it's time to do the zoo tour, but otherwise I'm gonna let this run and I'll catch you in a bit.
progress with the Timberwolf Ecology Restoration Project. Oh, such cute puppies! Ah, and will you look at all this biodiversity across the habitats? I'm not exaggerating when I say that all these different trees are the talk of the town. Yeah, I get the feeling that not a lot happens around here normally.
Okay, so I had done this zoo tour part, and I had recorded my voice at the same time while walking through. Unfortunately, I never unmuted my mic, so I'm coming through and we're just gonna talk over it. But I decided to do a zoo tour before we even get the gold objective, because at this point we were just waiting for one of our wolves to grow up so that we could release them to the wild, and I'm like pretty sure that's the last thing that we needed. So I figured we're here anyway, we're waiting anyway, we might as well come in and check out the zoo from the guest perspective. I did remove the middle barrier from the mini savanna habitat, so they have all that room to run. I really do like this map quite a lot. Feels very, very remote, but also I really like the shading and the coloring of the terrain on this map. I feel like a lot of times when I'm in Sandbox or franchise, I traditionally tend to do the tropical or temperate biomes, because especially the temperate, I don't usually plan out too far ahead of what I'm going to put in the zoo, so I like to have as many of my animals as comfortable as possible without using too many heaters or coolers or this or that. So temperate's just a good middle ground. We have our hippo and buffalo habitat. We have a hippo napping like right there. I feel like that hippo's always napping there. We have a snow leopard in here somewhere. She's probably hiding, because I couldn't find her when I was recording this, but she's in there. Somewhere. She's definitely in there, I promise. We have this exhibit, and I believe it was supposed to be a beetle. But with the education screen off, it's very possible that that beetle was no longer in there. We have guest facilities and our crocodile habitat. If this was a map we were going to be spending more time in, I would definitely want to fill in a lot of that empty space. There's definitely a lot of empty areas that could be filled with foliage and all kinds of fun stuff for the guest. But again, time. I've said it so many times now. I think for Planet Zoo 2, we'll probably really take our time on the career. I'm thinking having a career mode, but also having I'm thinking franchise over Sandbox to start. 2 series like that, kind of going back and forth. And as far as the career mode goes, just really slowing down on it. We're not going to be on a time crunch, kind of like we are for this one. So we'll probably really take our time on those. Depends. I might get really, really excited and just want to keep moving and checking everything out, but I'm leaning slower is better. So we kind of sprint through the bridge here. I like how these habitats look from here. I think it looks really good, but I would definitely have moved this bridge over some more and put something on the other side. I think would have been a better move. We have our tapirs and the flamingos. Other side, we have some camels and exhibits that I do forget to stop and look at. We have a little baby camel. I don't even think I realized that. We have a lot of people holding trash, and I'm seeing a lot of guests that appear to need to go to the bathroom. So I definitely should have put some more guest facilities on this side. I did it on the other side, but not on this side for some reason. Our red pandas are a hit. They're in there somewhere. I believe one's gonna pop up. There's one of them. They're so far away. I think these center two habitats are probably my favorite, just because you get such a complete look at the entirety of the habitat from a lot of different angles. Our wolves just hooting and hollering as they do. I feel like anytime you're near the wolves, you're gonna hear them just constantly howling. Which it's okay, they're cute, so they can get away with it. It is funny sometimes whenever have wolves in a zoo and I'm not wearing my headset, so I'm playing the sound through the speakers, they'll start howling and my dog just looks at them like, why are there dogs in the speakers? Does her little head tilt thing. She's never joined in though, which is kind of surprising. Here's our beautiful wolves. I am so excited. I'm so ready for Planet Zoo 2 and the upgrade that the wolves got. They look absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's Nevada State Eco Zoo. We're about to wrap around to the front and get one final look at our springbok habitat, but so that's the zoo. It's pretty much done from this point. I'm okay with how it turned out. There's definitely a lot of work that could still be done, but I'm comfortable with saying it's finished. For career mode, at least. I cannot emphasize that enough. We finally had Vanessa age up, so we release her to the wild and we get our gold star.
I could never have imagined that our first zoo would be this successful. Oh, and I could not have done it without you. Thanks to your efforts, we've made an incredible contribution to the Timberwolf Ecology Restoration Project. And, even better, the zoo is running completely on renewables. I mean, I know this is what I asked for, but I just didn't believe we'd make it this far, so fast. You know, other than the animals, you really were the only good thing about Mr. Meyer's zoos. Oh, and now that he doesn't have you working for him, he's really cutting costs to the bone. I hear he actually tried passing off a habitat full of house cats as pygmy lions. Ugh! I mean, the sooner we get rid of him, the better.
Alright, so gold star achieved for career zoo number 10. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you later.